The ship was quiet, too quiet for his liking. She walked through the cargo bay of the Halcyon Star, checking equipment boxes one by one. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. The research vessel had been orbiting this strange moon for 3 days now, and nothing exciting had happened. Just rocks, more rocks, and some interesting minerals that made the science team happy. Was not a scientist. She was security. Her job was to keep people safe, and right now, there was nothing to keep them safe from. She almost wished something would happen. She would regret that wish very soon. A voice crackled through her earpiece. It was her best friend on the ship. He worked in engineering, keeping the old vessel running. "You done counting boxes yet?" "Almost," she replied. "Why, something wrong?" "No, just bored. Captain has us running the same diagnostics for the 5th time today. I think he's bored too." Smiled. The captain was a serious man, a veteran of many missions, but even he couldn't make a mineral survey exciting. "Maybe we should," started to say. The ship shook hard, grabbed a metal shelf to keep herself standing. Red lights began flashing. Alarms screamed through the corridors. "What was that?" she shouted into her earpiece. "Unknown vessel," voice cut in. She was the AI coordinator, the woman who managed all the ship's automated systems. Her voice was usually calm, not now. "It came out of nowhere. It's not in any database. It's organic. The ship is alive." Felt cold, a living ship, that was not good. "It's releasing something," continued. "A pod, it's heading straight for us. Impact in 30 seconds. "Where?" demanded. "Cargo bay, your location." Looked around the large room. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. She pulled her standard pistol from its holster. It suddenly felt very small in her hand. 20 seconds. She could hear captain shouting orders over the main channel. Crew members running, doors sealing, the ship preparing for the worst. 10 seconds. Took a deep breath. She had trained for combat her whole adult life, but she had never faced anything truly alien. None of them had. 5 seconds. The hull above her head began to glow orange, then red, then white. The metal screamed as something tore through it. The pod crashed into the cargo bay, crushing 3 equipment boxes beneath it. Steam and smoke filled the air. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the pod opened. Had seen pictures of alien species. The Galactic Union had thousands of members, and humans had learned about many of them since joining 20 years ago. She had studied their forms, their strengths, their weaknesses. This creature was none of them. It had 7 limbs, or maybe 8. It was hard to count because it kept moving, unfolding itself from the pod like a nightmare climbing out of a box. Its body was covered in armor that glowed with soft blue light. Its head, if it was a head, had no eyes that she could see, just smooth, dark surface. It was beautiful, it was terrifying. The creature turned toward her. It knew she was there. Somehow it knew. Raised her pistol and fired. 3 shots sent her mass. The bullets bounced off the armor like rain off a window. The creature moved, fast. Faster than anything that size should move. One of its limbs swept through the air where its head had been half a second ago. She had already ducked, rolling to the side, her body acting before her mind could catch up. Another limb came down like a hammer, jumped back. A cargo container behind her was cut in half, metal sliced clean through. Her wrist display lit up. The ship's tactical scanner was trying to analyze the creature. She saw numbers flashing, data streaming. The scanner was designed to assess threats from over 4,000 known species. It had kept soldiers alive for decades. The display flickered. Then it showed something had never seen before. Threat level unknown. Insufficient data. Recommend immediate evacuation. The creature attacked again, barely dodged, feeling the wind of its limb passing her face. She was faster than most humans. It was not enough. His voice was screaming in her ear. "Get out of there," the scanner says. "I know what it says," she replied, her voice steady even as her heart pounded. Another strike, another dodge. The creature was learning her movements, she realized. Each attack came closer than the last. It was adapting. The scanner updated again. Combat prediction: 0.3% survival probability. 0.3%. That meant if she fought this battle 1,000 times, she would die 997 times. Those were bad odds. Most people would run. The scanner was telling her to run. Every logical part of her brain was telling her to run. But was not most people, and she had never been good at listening to logic. She planted her feet and faced the creature. It seemed to pause, perhaps confused by prey that did not flee. "Okay," she said quietly, "let's see what you've got." The creature attacked and moved to meet it. In the bridge, Captain watched the security feed with wide eyes. Beside him was frozen at her console, data streaming past her unseeing eyes. "She's going to die," whispered. The captain did not respond. He just watched the small human woman dance with death in his cargo bay. And somewhere in the back of his old soldier's mind, he remembered why he had hired her in the first place. Because did not know how to quit. The creature was faster, but only just. She moved through the cargo bay like water flowing around attacks that should have killed her. Left, right, duck, roll, jump. Her body was a blur of motion, guided by instincts she did not fully understand. The creature's limbs cut through the air again and again. Each strike destroyed something. A metal shelf torn apart. A cargo container split open. The floor itself cracked under the force of missed blows. Did not think, she could not afford to think. Thinking was slow. Thinking meant death. Her wrist display kept flashing updates. She caught glimpses between movements. Creature speed, EXCDS human capability. Armor density, impenetrable to standard weapons. Survival probability, 0.2%. The number was going down. The scanner was getting more pessimistic with every passing second. The creature swung 3 limbs at once, high, middle, low. A killing pattern. No human should be able to avoid all 3. Twisted her body in a way that hurt, bending at angles that would leave bruises tomorrow. If there was a tomorrow, all 3 limbs missed. Barely. She landed in a crouch, breathing hard. The creature paused. It seemed confused. In that moment of stillness, glanced at her wrist display. The scanner was going crazy, trying to understand what was happening. More warnings, more predictions of death. She spoke without thinking. "Who gave you authorization to panic?" The words surprised her. They surprised the creature too, if a thing with no visible face could be surprised. Then understood something. The creature was a predator, a hunter. It killed prey, probably had killed countless prey across many worlds, and it was good at hunting because it could predict. It watched muscle tension, body position, eye movement. It knew where prey would be before they moved. That was why the scanner's predictions kept failing. The creature was doing the same thing. It was calculating her movements, expecting her to dodge in certain ways, and when she did not dodge the way it expected, it missed. But why? Why was unpredictable? She remembered her grandmother, an old woman with strong hands who had taught traditional Korean archery when she was young. It was called, not just a sport, a philosophy. "Empty your mind," her grandmother had said again and again. "Do not think about the target. Do not think about the arrow. Do not think about anything. Let your body act, pure reaction, no intention." Had practiced for years. She had thought it was just archery, just meditation, just an old tradition from a planet she barely remembered. Now she realized it was something more. She had trained herself to move without intention, without planning, without telegraphing what she would do next. Her body simply reacted. And the creature could not read her, because there was nothing to read. It attacked again. A single limb this time, testing. Stepped to the side, not where a normal person would step, but somewhere else, somewhere random, somewhere that made no logical sense. The creature missed by a wide margin. "You can't predict me," said softly, "can you?" The creature went still, completely still. For 3 long seconds, nothing moved in the cargo bay. Then it screamed. The sound was terrible. It filled the air, vibrated through the metal walls, shook bones. It was not a sound of anger or pain. It was a call. His voice was desperate in her ear. "More pods, 3 more, they're coming." She looked up at the hole in the ceiling. Beyond it, through the smoke and sparks, she could see the alien ship, and she could see 3 more pods falling toward the halcyon star. The creature in front of her had stopped attacking. It was watching her now, learning, adapting. And it was waiting for help. "Fall back to the bridge," Captain ordered over the ship-wide channel. "All crew, fall back, seal all sections." Should follow that order. She should run. The scanner on her wrist agreed. It was now showing messages in red, urgent warnings she did not bother to read. But if she ran, the creature would follow. It would learn from watching her flee. And when it caught up, because it would catch up, it would be ready. No, she had to end this now, or at least hurt it enough to slow it down. Reached for the plasma cutter on her belt. A tool, not a weapon, used for cutting through damaged hull sections. It was not designed for combat. Neither was she, according to the scanner. The creature saw her reach for the tool. It tensed, ready to react, but did not attack with the plasma cutter. Instead, she threw her pistol, threw it high, toward the creature's head. The creature's limbs moved automatically, swatting the pistol away. In that instant was already moving, not toward the creature, toward the hole in the hull, toward the broken metal and exposed wires. She grabbed a hanging cable and pulled, hard. Sparks exploded. The emergency lighting system overloaded. For 2 seconds, the cargo bay went completely dark. When the lights returned, was gone. The creature screamed again, a different sound this time. Frustration, perhaps, or something else. In the ventilation shaft above the cargo bay, crawled as quietly as she could. Her hands were burned from the cable. Her body ached from a dozen near misses. But she was alive. And now she knew something important. The creatures could be confused, they could be surprised, they could be beaten. She just had to figure out how. Behind her in the cargo bay, the other 3 pods crashed through the hull. More creatures unfolded themselves into the ship. The hunt was not over. It was just beginning. The bridge was chaos. Crew members ran between stations. Screens showed warning after warning. The ship systems were failing, damaged by the boarding pods that had torn through the hull. Captain stood in the center of it all, calm and steady. His voice cut through the noise. "Seal sections 4 through 7. Redirect life support to essential areas only. Where are my security teams?" "Dead or scattered," answered. Her fingers flew across her console. "The creatures are moving through the ship, fast. I count 4 of them now." "5," said a new voice. Everyone turned. Ambassador stood at the back of the bridge. She was a diplomat, not a soldier. Her job was to observe and report to the Galactic Union. She looked pale. "A 5th pod just hit the lower decks," she said. 5 creatures, on a ship with 43 crew. 42, corrected quietly. "We lost in the first attack." Closed her eyes for a moment, then she opened them. "I need to understand something, your security officer. She's still alive." Checked her console. "Yes, she's in the maintenance tunnels, moving toward Section 6. "She fought one of those things," said slowly, "and she survived." "She did more than survive," said from his engineering station. His arm was wrapped in a bloody bandage. He had been cut when the first pod hit. "She heard it, made it confused. I watched the feed." Shook her head. She had spent 15 years working with alien species. She knew things about the galaxy that most humans never learned, and what she knew made this situation impossible. Humans are not supposed to be able to do that, she said. Looked at her, what do you mean? I mean exactly what I said, stepped forward, her voice serious. In the Galactic Union, humans are classified as a non-combat species. You have no natural weapons, no armor, no venom, no special senses. Physically, you are one of the weakest intelligent species ever discovered. Thank you for the encouragement, muttered. That's not an insult, it's a fact. Pointed at the security feed showing crawling through a tunnel. Your species should have died out 1,000,000 years ago, every other species like you did, but somehow you survived. You built civilizations, you reached the stars. The Union accepted you because you are clever, you negotiate, you build, you trade, not because you fight. And yet, said quietly, we fight. Before could respond, a new voice came through the speakers. Bridge, this is, the young sounded scared but focused. I'm in the science lab. I've been studying the creatures through the sensors. I found something. Go ahead, said. They communicate through chemicals, smells, pheromones, talked fast. It's like they're one mind in many bodies. They coordinate perfectly because they're always sharing information. That's why they're such good hunters. They work together without even trying. Can we block it? Asked. Maybe, I'm working on it, but that's not the important part. Paused. They've never failed, never. Their genetic memory goes back thousands of years, and in all that time they've never encountered prey that actually fights back. They don't have a word for it. They don't have a concept for it. The idea of prey that resists. It doesn't exist in their minds. Silence on the bridge. Then smiled. It was a small smile, tired and grim, but it was real. So they don't know how to handle us, he said. Not yet, replied. They're learning fast, but right now they're confused. They expected us to run and hide. They didn't expect us to fight. A new alert flashed on the screens. One of the creatures was approaching the bridge. It would arrive in 3 minutes. Turn to his crew. Seal the door. Everyone prepare to. Captain's voice crackled through the speakers. I'm in Section 6. I can see 2 of them. I'm going to draw them away from the bridge. No, get to safety. There is no safety, not until these things are dead. Her voice was calm, too calm. Turn off the tactical scanners. Looked up, what? The scanners, turn them off, ship-wide. That's insane, said. The scanners are the only thing telling us. Telling us we're going to die, interrupted. Every update says we can't win. Every prediction says to run, but we can't run. So the predictions are useless. They're just noise, and noise is distracting. Understood. He remembered his early days as a soldier, long before he became a captain. He remembered what it felt like to face impossible odds. The scanner told you to give up, and sometimes, if you listened, you did. Do it, he ordered. Hesitated. Sir, without scanners we won't know. We don't know anything anyway. These creatures aren't in any database. The scanner is useless. His voice was firm. Turn it off. Took a deep breath. Then she typed the command. Every tactical display on the ship went dark. Every wrist unit stopped showing survival odds. Every screen stopped predicting death. For the first time in years, the crew of the Halcyon Star was fighting blind. And something changed. Without the constant updates telling them to fail, they stopped expecting to fail. Straightened at his station, ideas forming in his mind. Began running calculations that weren't about survival, they were about victory. Even felt it, a strange energy filling the bridge. On the security feed, emerged from the maintenance tunnel. 2 creatures turned toward her. Their limbs rose, ready to strike. Did not check her wrist. She did not look for odds or predictions. She just smiled. Come on then, she said, let's dance. And she ran straight at them. The creatures were hunters. They had always been hunters. For thousands of years, across hundreds of worlds, they had chased and killed and eaten. Nothing had ever stopped them. Nothing had ever even tried. Until now. The two creatures facing moved together. Their chemical communication was perfect. They knew exactly what the other would do. One attacked high, one attacked low. There was no escape. Did not try to escape. She dropped flat to the ground. Both attacks passed over her. Then she rolled, not away from them but between them. For 1 second she was inside their guard, too close for their long limbs to reach. She did not waste that second. The plasma cutter in her hand flared to life. It was meant for cutting metal, not armor. But there were gaps in the armor, small gaps, where the limbs connected to the body. She stabbed. The creature screamed. Blue fluid, blood maybe, sprayed across the corridor. The limb fell to the ground, severed. Was already moving. The other creature swung at her. She ducked. Another swing. She jumped over it. A third swing caught her across the back. Pain exploded through her body. She felt skin tear, muscle rip. Warm blood ran down her spine. She did not stop. Using the momentum of the hit, she spun around and drove the plasma cutter into the second creature's side. Not a killing blow. The armor was too thick, but deep enough to hurt. Both creatures backed away. They were wounded, confused. This had never happened before. Prey did not fight back. Prey did not hurt hunters. It was impossible. And yet here they were, bleeding. His voice came through her earpiece. "I'm watching through the cameras. Are you okay?" "No," she said honestly, "but I'm alive. Where are the other three?" "Two are heading toward the bridge. One is. I don't know, it disappeared from sensors." That was bad, very bad. But she could not worry about that now. The two wounded creatures in front of her were recovering. Already, their movements were becoming smoother. They were adapting to her fighting style, learning. She had seconds before they figured her out. She said, "That pheromone thing, is it ready?" "Almost," this voice was strained. "I need 2 more minutes." She did not have 2 minutes. Backed away slowly. The creatures followed. They were more careful now, more cautious. They had learned that she was dangerous. Good, fear was useful. She said, "Can you control the lights in this section?" "I think so. Why?" "Make them flash fast, random pattern." There was a pause. "That might cause seizures in humans." "I'll close my eyes, just do it." Another pause, then, "Okay, ready when you are." Took a deep breath. She closed her eyes. "Now." The lights exploded into chaos. Flash, flash, flash. Bright, dark, random, unpredictable, painful. The creatures stopped. Their bodies jerked strangely. They relied on visual hunting, tracking movement, predicting motion. The flashing lights broke their perception. They could not see properly, could not track. For 5 seconds they were blind. Moved by memory, she knew this corridor. She had walked it 100 times, 3 steps left, 2 steps forward, 1 step right. She reached the maintenance hatch, pulled it open, climbed inside. "Okay, stop," she whispered. The lights returned to normal. The creatures shook themselves, recovering. They looked around for their prey. She was gone. In the ventilation system, allowed herself to breathe. Her back was on fire. She could feel blood soaking through her uniform. She needed medical attention soon or she would not survive. But she could not stop now, not yet. "Bridge," she said quietly, "what's your status?" The creatures reached the door, replied. "They're trying to break through. We have maybe 10 minutes. And?" "Ready?" This voice was excited. "The pheromone disruptor is done. If I release it through the ventilation system, it will scramble their communication. They won't be able to coordinate." "Do it." "Already done. It's spreading through the ship now." Felt a strange smell in the air, sweet, chemical, unnatural. Somewhere below her she heard the creatures scream. Not attack screams, confused screams, lost screams. They were calling for each other, and no one was answering. "It's working," reported from the bridge. "They've stopped their coordinated attack. They're moving randomly now, acting individually." Individual hunters, Not a pack that was better, much better. Said, the creature that disappeared from sensors. Any idea where it is? Still nothing, it's like it vanished. Things that big don't vanish, thought for a moment, unless they're hiding. Why would a hunter hide? Smiled though it hurt, because it's learning. She crawled through the ventilation system, following a path toward the engine room. The lead creature, the first one she had fought, was smart, smarter than the others. It had faced her twice and failed twice. Now it was waiting, setting a trap. But had set traps before, and she knew something the creature did not. Humans were not just prey. Humans had been predators too, once. Long ago, on a planet called Earth, they had hunted creatures much bigger and stronger than themselves. They had used tools, tricks, patience. They had learned to be clever because they had to be. And that cleverness was still there, buried in their DNA, waiting to be used. The creature wanted to hunt her. Fine. She would hunt it back. Dropped out of the ventilation system into the engine room. It was dark, quiet. The massive engines hummed around her, filling the space with sound and heat. She could feel the creature watching her. It was here, somewhere. I know you're there, she said calmly. I know you're waiting. Silence. You've never met anything like me, have you? Silence. Neither have I. She held her plasma cutter loosely ready. But here's the difference between us. You think you're the hunter. You think I'm the prey. She smiled, blood on her teeth. But I'm not. The creature moved, fast from above. Was faster. She stepped forward into the attack, not away from it, and drove the plasma cutter upward. The blade found the gap in the armor, found the soft tissue beneath, found something vital. The creature fell. It twitched once, twice, then it was still. Stood over it, breathing hard. Her vision was blurring. She was losing too much blood. But she had won. His voice was worried. Are you okay? Define okay, she whispered. Then she collapsed. Woke up in the medical bay. Was standing over her, sealing the wound on her back with medical gel. Don't move, they said. You lost a lot of blood, you should be dead. I get that a lot. Tried to sit up. Pain shot through her entire body. She sat up anyway. What's happening? His face was pale. The remaining creatures retreated to their ship. We thought it was over. But before could answer, the ship shook. Alarms started screaming again. That's what, said quietly. Grabbed her earpiece from the table beside her. She put it in. Captain's voice filled her head. Massive. I repeat, a mothership has arrived. It's at least 3 kilometers long. We're detecting hundreds of life signs aboard. Hundreds against 40 surviving crew members, most of whom were not fighters. Limped toward the door. You can't fight, said. Your body won't. My body will do what I tell it to do. She walked through the corridors of the damaged ship. Crew members watched her pass. Some looked scared, some looked hopeful. They had all seen the security footage. They knew what she had done. She reached the bridge, turned to look at her. His face showed relief, then concern. You should be in bed. I should be dead, and yet, she looked at the main screen. The mothership filled the view. It was enormous, beautiful in a terrible way. Its organic surface pulsed with light like a heart beating. Hundreds of pods were attached to its sides. Each pod could carry a creature like the ones that had invaded their ship. The tactical scanner, which had been turned back on for this, was displaying a message. Threat level, extinction class. No survival options calculated. Laughed, it hurt, but she laughed anyway. What's funny? Asked. The scanner still thinks survival is about options. Shook her head. Pull it up on my station. I need to see the communication systems. Why? Because we're not going to fight our way out of this. Ambassador stepped forward. She had been quiet since the mothership arrived, her face unreadable. What are you planning? Sat at a console, ignoring the pain in her back. Can you synthesize the creature's pheromone language? Turn it into something we can broadcast? Blinked eyes. Maybe. Why? Because I want to send them a message. Moved to stand beside her. His arm was in a sling now, but his eyes were bright. What kind of message? Started typing. All of it, every camera recording from the fight, every moment. A single human fighting their hunters and winning. That will just make them angry, said. No, looked up at the ambassador. That will make them scared. The bridge was silent. You don't understand these creatures, continued. They've never lost. Never. Losing isn't something they know how to handle, and now 3 of their hunters are dead, killed by something they thought was prey. If I show them that footage, if I let them see what happened, they'll know they can die, finished. More than that, his voice was quiet. They'll know we're not worth the cost. This ship has 40 people. Our planet has 8 billion. Our colonies have millions more. If one human can kill 3 of them, how many will they lose trying to take our worlds? Shook her head. This is insane. They'll call our bluff. They'll attack. It's not a bluff, met her eyes. We really are that stubborn. We really will fight to the last person. We really don't know how to give up. That's not a threat. That's just who we are. Had been working furiously at her console. Okay, I think I can do it. I can translate the footage into their chemical language. They'll understand what they're seeing. Do it, ordered. Broadcast on all frequencies. Typed. The ship's communication array lit up. Signals pulsed outward. Not just radio waves, but chemical signals, pheromone patterns, everything could synthesize. On the screen they watched the footage play. Fighting, dodging, bleeding, winning. A small human woman destroying hunters that had never known defeat. The footage ended with the final creature dead at her feet. And then, in the chemical language of the hunters, a simple message. This is what we are. This is what happens when you corner us. You can kill this ship. You can kill this crew, but there are billions more of us. We do not calculate survival odds. We do not know when to stop. Come and find out what that means. The mothership received the message. Its lights pulsed. It was processing, thinking, communicating. 1 minute passed. 2 minutes. 3. They're not launching pods, reported. Her voice was shaking. They're just sitting there. 4 minutes. 5. 6. The mothership's lights changed. Its engines began to glow. It's moving, said. It's turning away. Watched the screen. The massive vessel was retreating. Slowly, carefully, but definitely retreating. The creatures had done something they had never done before. They had chosen not to hunt. Because for the first time, they had met prey that was not worth the cost. The bridge erupted in cheers. Crew members hugged each other. Someone was crying, grabbed in a careful hug, mindful of her injuries. Captain just sat in his chair, staring at the screen. They were afraid, he said quietly. They were actually afraid of us. Ambassador was still standing, her face pale. I need to report this to the Galactic Union. They need to know what happened here. They won't believe it, said. No, they won't, looked at her with new eyes. But it doesn't matter if they believe it. It matters that it's true. Weeks later, a report circulated through the intelligence agencies of the Galactic Union. It was classified at the highest levels, but rumors spread anyway. They always did. The report concerned an incident in the Vega system, a human research vessel, an unknown predator species, and a recommendation to update all threat assessment systems regarding humanity. The new entry read, Threat level unknown. Do not engage without overwhelming force. Species does not respond to fear as anti-CPATD. Exercise extreme caution. At the bottom of the report, in handwritten universal standard, someone had added a note. Or just don't pick fights with humans. They're weird about it. And in a small apartment on a colony world far from Vega, read a digital copy of the report that had accidentally acquired. She smiled at the final line. Yeah, she said to herself, we are weird about it. Then she went back to her archery practice, cleared her mind, let her body move without thought, and waited for the next fight. Because there would always be a next fight. And she would always be ready.